hair in places you don't want them? Would you like them removed? Well, why not try waxing? This week on The Good Life, we stop by Totally Male Club Spa to find out more about the trend. How much will it cost you? You'll find out more. Sandra, welcome to The Good Life.
Thank you for having us.
Talk to me about Totally Male Club Spa. What exactly is it that you guys do here?
Totally Male Club Spa has been around for the last 22 years. We have an all-male spa, and you're treated by women only. And that's deliberate because we want to ensure that the men feel comfortable. At Totally Male, we do haircut, shave, manicure, pedicure, massage, facial, waxing, body scrubs, anything for the aesthetic upgrading of men. We also do children from the year of 1 coming up, because we do believe grooming is essential for the holistic upbringing of a boy into manhood.
So we've gotten a few complaints here on The Good Life that we don't focus on men. We tend to focus more on women. So I guess today we're catering more to men.
And that's one of the main reasons why Totally Male did not choose to go unisex. Because in a unisex salon, many times the women take over. So that's why we have chosen for the last 22 years to remain Totally Male.
We're here today to talk about waxing and the benefits of waxing. Talk to us about what exactly is waxing.
We are a place of grooming. You have certain, many men who are very hairy. And as you know, that hair increases perspiration. And it can be very uncomfortable. We live in a very hot climate. And you know, hair brings heat as well. So men like to wax, some men like shaving, but waxing is more permanent in the sense that it takes longer to go back. It gives you a cleaner finish. The skin is smooth after. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks. What we call semi-permanent hair removal. And we can wax in all different areas. Now, it all depends on the individual, because it depends on your pain threshold, because waxing can be, at least initially, be very painful. Some men choose to shave rather than waxing, but waxing lasts longer, the hair grows back finer and softer, and so you find that many men choose to waxing, especially persons who are in bodybuilding, because you know in bodybuilding you have to have a hairless body, because they want to see the definition of the muscles. So that's another reason for waxing. If you are somebody that works out at the gym and you want to show the definition of your body, because the hair would certainly hide some of the definition.
Is waxing something that has always been on trend, or do you find that more men are coming in to get
it? Has, I wouldn't call it trendy. Based on the fact that it's not a large amount of men doing it. And I'm assuming that's because of knowledge or lack thereof. But waxing goes as far back as 30,000 BC. The method may have been different, but men still did hair removal.
Talk to me about the different types of waxing. Okay,
so you have 2 different types of waxing. You have waxing that you put on the skin and it's removed with a cloth strip. You have hard wax that is put on the skin, it cools, and then it's taken off by itself. The hard wax is mainly for sensitive skin. That does not require you putting on a strip and putting on a cloth and pulling it off. We can peel it off by itself. The strip waxing is for more stubborn hair in more stubborn areas. So you put on the soft wax on the skin, and then it's applied hot. Well, warm. I don't want to say hot because some people, that's why they get damage. they put on the wax too hot. It has to be put on in a tempered temperature. Then you apply the cloth and then you just pull against the hair growth.
So what are some places that men wax?
Everywhere.
So it's eyebrows,
everywhere. I don't want to say eyebrows.
There's some guys that are hairy that tend to remove
right.
hair.
So we remove the unibrow. We remove the unibrow, and if sometimes you have, as I said, very hairy men, especially of Indian descent, sometimes the hair goes right up into the hairline. So at some barbers, especially in places like in Arab countries, after they finish the shaving, they do waxing in the other areas to pull the fine hairs out. So you have a clean, sharp finish when you're done. We wax the underarm, wax the pubic area, we wax the legs, the chest, the back. Those are the most common areas.
So how long does waxing last?
Well, waxing on a normal circumstances, because persons have different spurts of hair growth, right? So some people hair grows faster than some, but on average 4 to 6 weeks. Yes, which is longer than shaving, because as you finish shaving, by tomorrow morning it starts growing back. So the hair, when you wax, it takes it from the root. That's what makes the difference. So we call it semi-permanent hair removal.
How painful is it exactly? Because if it's being pulled up from the root.
Well, the initial, with my experience, the initial waxing, the first time it's very hot. So you really have to have a tolerance for pain. The pain threshold has to be very high. But over a period of time, it gets, it's less painful over a period of time.
Are some areas more painful than others?
Certainly, because of course in the pubic area is more sensitive than we would say the back or the chest. So clearly, if the pubic area, on our menu we call it TA, which is tail and ass, because we do the entire area, the buttocks and the top of the mouth of the pubic area. We also do the scrotum. So it's a totally clean finish when you're done.
All right, so Sandra, you're going to give us a demonstration today?
Yes.
Usually I'll participate, but today is all about the men, so I'll step aside this one time. Are you ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Ready. We take our first break here on The Good Life. More when we return. On this week's Need to Know, we share a fact sheet on the advantages of waxing compared to shaving. While most people compare the results of waxing to shaving, it boils down to a matter of preference. When comparing waxing to tweezing and threading, all three produce the same result, by pulling hair from the body by the root.
Okay, come with me. So today, our subject is Stefan. And we have today our esthetician is Judith Mackenzie.
Hello.
So Stefan is getting ready for the beach. So Stefan is getting rid of all the underarm hair and the lower torso. So we're going to remove the hair so that when he puts on his swim trunks, all of it is clean.
Okay.
Our esthetician is Judith Mackenzie. On our top esthetician. As a matter of fact, she's our spa manager. So today we'll be showing you, just demonstrating how we go about it. What we do first is to remove the excess hair to reduce the pain.
Okay.
Right? Because the more the hair, the more the pain.
Okay.
So we're removing the excess hair first. And we recommend that our clients come to us with a clean body.
Meaning them have to bathe first.
Of course.
Okay then.
And then we clean the area. We prep the area.
Okay.
We use GG products, very good products. The GG is one of the top waxing products that most spas use.
What is Judith about?
So Judith is now applying the warm wax.
It's hot? It's hot?
It's hot.
So you put the wax on
Put the
there.
wax on, and then we use
Now what I'll cry in here today, no.
a calico sprit. Here.
Pressing, pressing.
Pressing, and then we just rip.
Ooh wee.
Yes.
Not that bad.
So we just take off all the little hairs. We make sure that they.
That was quick.
Yes.
Is it usually that quick?
Yes.
Okay.
Just have the application of the wax, and just make sure.
What was that?
That's fine. That's nice.
Nice. So you mentioned earlier that in preparing to get their waxes done,
Yes.
they should come in clean.
Yes.
And what are some other recommendations that you'd have for your clients?
Well, after we're finished, we make sure that we put on a cooling agent.
Okay.
Same products, same line of products. GG, they have a line of products for the waxing, right? And then we normally follow up after we put on all of those things with our nice soothing oil on the body, just to calm the skin. You put on a calmer and you just calm down the skin, because sometimes the area tends to be a little bit red when you're finished, because you have just lifted here, so no, so it's nice and cool now. Cool down the area,
And it's smooth.
right? So we just ask that you moisturize the area from time to time.
Okay.
So now you have no problem putting on your underarm deodorant or anything. You can hold up your hand and feel very confident. So Judith will just again debulk.
And there isn't much to take off either. It's just a little trim, right?
But sometimes, depending on the client, the hair is a lot.
Okay.
So we just take down the bulk so that is, as I said, reduce the pain. You notice he said it wasn't as painful.
Right.
So yes.
And you're cleaning the area again.
The honey, it's a honey wax. We use the natural honey wax. Same product, GG line. Because we find that it works very well.
So it's a case where honey is the main ingredient, or it's basically honey?
Honey is the main ingredient.
So is there a technique or skill necessary to remove hair?
Well, certainly you have to be trained to remove hair, because if you don't do it properly, you can bruise the skin, right? If you don't apply the wax properly, you'll have to be going over it several times, and you don't want to cause trauma to the skin.
Okay. Sanitation
Because you
wise,
can also break the capillaries as well,
Okay.
bruise the skin, so you don't want any of that.
Sanitation wise, what are some things that people need to keep in mind? Let's say if they want to go and get a wax.
You ensure that the persons are using clean material, whether it is they're using the strips that is ready-made, or some places they may buy the natural calico material and cut them in strips. But we hear horror stories of persons reusing strips to save money and all those kind of things. Just ensure that wherever you go, it's a reputable place. They have the products pre-con to clean the skin, and after to soothe the skin, that you don't have any burning sensations after, right? You're cooling down the area, and then you want to moisturize the area. There's a little hair left right here. You just want to take up that right here.
How is it?
Right?
It's good.
It's good?
Yeah.
Pain scale from 1 to 10.
4.
The 4.
Doesn't quite pass.
Alright.
Well, luckily for Stefan, he's not very hairy. So I mean, it as I said, mostly persons of I would say Indian descent, right? Indian descent, and their back from the top of their neck straight down to the top of their buttocks is full hair.
Right.
So in that, for those persons, it will be very painful. But as I said, as you go on, the more you do it, the hair grows back thinner and softer, and it is not as painful. And we recommend, especially when you are doing your underarm, you don't use a roll-on. I would like to say that the same day.
Right.
You know, you want to allow the skin to heal first.
Okay.
And, you know, you have options of baking soda or anything like that for you, and if you're somebody that sweats profusely.
Yeah.
But we recommend waxing up the underarm for persons who sweat a lot, because as I said, when you have a lot of hair underneath the arm, it makes you sweat even more, perspire even more. A lot of the fashion nowadays, you know, is showing your underarm, you know, so it is more attractive. And a lot of men wax for themselves. As I said, bodybuilders wax. However, a lot of women don't like hairy skin. So you will find that their partners will come in for a wax or a shave to remove the hair, you know, feel more sexy, or, you know, whatever it is that they're doing for their mate.
All right, so you're gonna start.
The tummy.
Right, so I'm going to just come around here.
So he's getting ready for his swimsuit, his swim trunks.
Right.
So we're going to remove the hair at the very top of the pubic area.
How long does the procedure usually take, or it depends on the...
It depends on the amount of hair. In this case, Stefan does not have a lot of hair. So, I mean, we'll be out of here in, 20 minutes? From setup to, from he comes in the room until he leaves, it's about 20 minutes, no more than 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, and that's like relatively light hair, because people get hairier. They do. Okay. So it dries fairly quickly.
Yeah. Well, not really dry. It's sticky because, you know, it's wax. Just apply a little bit more. It gets stiff if it's not warm. You apply it on warm, and then you ensure that you pull it off before it gets stiff again.
No flailing of your hands or anything.
All right.
Come on, it's just a 4. It's just a 4. It's fast. It's pretty fast, though.
Yes.
Should put you out of your misery quick.
Very quickly. Was that threshold any?
A little, yeah.
A little
So, yeah.
As I said, certain areas are more sensitive than others. And as I said, the pubic region would be one of those. I would assume that the lower tummy would have
those nerves,
nerves, yes. As you can see, the difference, nice and clean.
Don't go anywhere. We wrap things up when we return here on The Good Life. Welcome back to The Good Life. We're in about 15 minutes of Stefan's waxing.
So you notice it's a little red in this area, but that's because of, you know, one, the wax is warm, but as soon as we put on the post-wax lotion, it will calm down the skin.
Okay.
Notice he's not jumping anymore.
Because he's trying to brave it out.
No, he has acclimatized to it. He has acclimatized to this, the pulling. Plus, there's not as much hair in that area as there was down here. If you notice, it comes off nice and clean. And if you can't touch it, it's very smooth to the touch.
Yeah. Like a baby's bottom.
So you can imagine, you know, that is very appealing to a woman.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're now putting on the cooling lotion.
So talk to us about aftercare. Are there steps that should be taken after,
Well, as I said, especially for usually, as I said, moisturize the skin, keep the area moisturized, but I would say underneath the arm, I would say, defer the roll-on deodorant for at least a day until the pores close. Gotcha. and the area is healed properly. The other areas, not much aftercare apart from moisturizing.
So after 20 minutes, Stefan finished his waxing.
You would wax again?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll have to continue. No.
Despite how relatively safe the procedure is, Sandra was quick to point out the precautions to take and aftercare. So Sandra, yes. Stefan was here, he had his underarms waxed and his torso waxed. Talk to me about some disadvantages. What should I look out for? If
as I said before, make sure that you go to a reputable place for waxing. Make sure that they use clean items. There's some of the disadvantages of waxing. Sometimes persons use the wax too hot, so you get burnt, or sometimes persons wax, they get bumps, and so you have to be very careful because sometimes they pull the hair, and sometimes you get those little white. Like those little pustules that may come up sometimes after even shaving. So sometimes you have to be very careful with where you go to get the waxing done. It has to be somebody professional, right? But on waxing, there's more advantages to waxing than disadvantages. You just have to make sure that you get it done properly. Certainly, if you have any damage to the skin, any trauma to the skin, any cuts, any bruises, clearly you cannot wax at this time, but that is if it's in the area where you want to wax. Also, you don't want to be drinking any excessive amount of alcohol or caffeinated drinks, because that also makes the skin more sensitive. Now, after you have done your wax, what we want to tell you to avoid is any public pools, any saunas, any you don't want to be soaking in a bath of any kind, because you want to your pores are open. The skin may the top layer of the skin may be a little irritated or bruised or even open, so you want to avoid any type. So you want to take a shower versus a bath. Do not go in public pools, do not go in saunas or anything like that immediately after a wax, maybe a day or two, to allow the skin to close up and to heal. Also, if you do your pubic area, you want to avoid tight clothing at this time. And if for whatever reason, after waxing, you see some little pimples coming up, rather than squeezing them, because if you squeeze them, it's gonna turn black. They're gonna get, like how you have little pimples on your face, it's gonna leave marks. So you want to just use a topical cream, maybe like a Neosporin, and put on the top of it, or go back to the person that you did the wax with, and they will recommend something, or they'll treat it themselves.
Someone had mentioned to me that if you have like darker armpits, waxing can help to lighten them.
Right, because with shaving, if you're somebody that shaved, with shaving, most times people get razor burn. That's what causes the darkness. It's the pigmentation. That's what causes the discoloration. Hyperpigmentation. With waxing, you do not have hyperpigmentation. So over a period of time, the darkness will go away.
When would Stefan come back for another visit?
Well, it all depends on how quickly Stefan's hair grows. Okay. However, usually the growth spurt is you usually see persons coming back between 4 to 6 weeks after a wax.
Talk to us about the cost. Well, what are the ranges?
Well, a full body wax is $12,500. You have what we call TNA, which is tail and nas, which is $4,500, which is the pubic area and the bottom. And you have like the back or the torso only, which is $2,700 each. And so and sometimes it varies based on your level how hairy you are, because some people can take a whole pot of wax.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
A whole pot, well, versus somebody like Stefan who is not as hairy but just wants certain areas, clean. So it all depends.
Alrighty, well, thank you, Sandra, and thanks for having us here
You
today
are so welcome.
at Totally Male Club Spa. I'm sure we've all learned a lot about waxing in general, but for those men who, want to get them things sorted out, they can come on by.
Definitely.
You have hair to remove, why not get a wax? Might be a little painful, but you'd end up with a very clean finish.
That's correct.
All right, there you go, guys. I'm your host, Amita Prasad Webb, and you've watched The Good Life.